Bless the Lord, bless the Lord, bless the Lord. Thank you, Emmanuel, thank you. Livening things up a little bit. We praise the Lord for you. So glad that we're going to have the reading of the eulogy just now. We're going to bring this forward, and while we're preparing to hear that, just want to thank the Lord for this Emmanuel Church. They have borne witness in this city for a long time, many years, and still doing that in song today. Let's give them a hand today as they lift us to another level. The eulogy will be read at this time by Marilyn. I think we should have some support for her.
Good morning, everyone. This eulogy and celebration of our mother, Stella Griffith. This eulogy is just a synopsis of 87 years of our mum's life on this earth, and not an easy task, as she lived life to the fullest. I'll start by reading John 14, verses 1 to 3. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions, and if it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you myself, that where I am, there you may be. And that's for my 7 brothers and sisters. She's gone ahead to prepare a place for us because she planted a seed of Christianity in us. In us. I am Marilyn, one of Mum's 8 children. I feel so honored to be leading her eulogy on behalf of my siblings Jeanette, Leroy, Norma, also known as Pat, Martin, Carl, Gwen, and Linda. Our mum leaves behind 22 grandchildren, 34 great-grandchildren. Our mum was born to William and Iretha Roach, both deceased in Barbados, on the 7th of August 1935 in the parish of St. Lucie, Barbados. Mum was the oldest of 17 children. Her brother Kinsley has already gone home to glory and will be blessed to have her with him. Mum attended St. Swithin's School and completed her education at the Mess House. Mum had 3 children, Jeanette, Leroy, and Pat, who were born in Barbados. Job opportunities were limited. Our grandfather sent for our mum to join him in Sheffield. The UK was seen as the land of opportunity for many West Indians, so she came to make a better life for her children in Barbados, and ultimately those born in the UK, Martin, Carl, Gwen, Linda, and I. She would return to Barbados twice a year for a long time to see my siblings, her mother, and other family members. But as time went by, this became less frequent. Mum built a family house in Barbados. She always said, you all will have somewhere to go and stay when you go home. Even though we were born here, Mum always told us we were Bajan. Mum left Barbados in 1958 on board a boat as one of the Windrush generation. She arrived to a dreary Sheffield with smoke coming out of chimneys, and this was a culture shock after leaving the emerald green sea, lush land and white sands. Mom lived with her dad and our great uncle, Conrad. Uncle Conrad, he is the last surviving member of Bramford Bab's 99 children. A documented fact of our lineage is huge. Mom came to fill the gap in professions that needed skilled people. Doctors, nurses, engineers, bus drivers, underground staff, postal staff. Mum started off being an auxiliary at Nether Edge Hospital in Sheffield. Mum was eventually joined by our dad, Darnley, now deceased. And within a year, Mum paid for her brothers Kingsley and Everett to come to England. They all eventually moved because Dad's work with British Steel was transferred to Manchester, and she would temporarily work at Walls and other places until she settled at Withington Hospital in Manchester. Mom continued to progress and work as a nurse, and she is extremely popular and jovial. I wonder where we get that from. She truly loved what she did. She was respected by the consultants, registrars, nurses, domiciliary staff and patients, and she regularly received gifts like chocolates, sweets, flowers, and we got the one, etc., which she spoiled our youngest sister, Linda. Linda was given autonomy on all the chocolates and sweets, and we got the one she didn't like. Linda told us frequently she consciously bites into sweets and chocolates and discards the one she doesn't like. Notice this. Okay. Mum was an extremely caring person, and one day back in 1976, she was coming home from a shift at the hospital and heard the late Cynthia Lyberg screaming. On entering her home in John Nash Crescent, she found Cynthia on the floor in full labour. Mum never panicked. She just got down and shouted to the other neighbours to call an ambulance. Without thinking, she proceeded to deliver a healthy baby girl who had the umbilical cord wrapped around her neck. Samantha Liebert is here today because Mum took a leap of faith, and she was not a midwife, but had the insight to save her friend and her child. Bless you, Samantha. Nothing was ever too much for our Mum. She always cooked a little extra just in case someone popped in. If they came unannounced, she always had a tin of corned beef and white rice ready to hit the stove. No matter what time they came calling, she was always readily available to help out where and when she could. She loved sewing, baking, cooking, and entertaining. The contents of her precious cabinet would emerge from the front room along with the stones, ginger wine, cockspur, Mount Gay, snowballs, and cherry beet. I personally think she missed her calling in that she should have been a comedian. She had a sense of humour second to none, quick-witted. If you came across her and she was in a mischievous mood, and that was often, you would laugh until you were in bodily pain. Tears flowing and your cheeks aching with laughter. Our Mum ran her household with precision. She ran partners. Hey, make sure you're not late, or woe betide you, because they're telling off you would get. She would run up an outfit in a day if you were going out. She cooked black pudding and souse, made sweet bread. Let me tell you, Dad's sweet bread was better. And that was they were completed by 12 noon. And as I said, Dad's sweet bread was better than Mum's. So sorry. Saturday was soup days, where she would cook the biggest pot of soup, and everyone would come and get a share. My Uncle Kingsley, Uncle Everett, and Uncle Ingram would come and fight over the meat and dumpling. She would tell them in her Bajan accent, look, enough is in the pot for you all. On one occasion, our uncle was fighting about the dumplings and meat, and one jumped the other in his mouth with a fork and took out the contents and ate it. Mom just looked and stroked the tea and handed them a tissue and said, sort yourself out. You ain't got no manners, fighting over food, there's enough. Look, the kitchen door, I watch him a program. Mom was so popular, don't even think you'd be getting back from home anytime from the weekly shopping expeditions. I know where I get that from. She had to talk to all and sundry. She knew every shopkeeper, the majority of the people in her community. Martin and I suffered many a days as we were laden with shopping bags and couldn't interrupt her chin wags. I believe my arms are extra long because we had to stand for so long with the heavy bags and stay quiet, or else. Mom was an early bird and she passed that trait on to all her children. Mom always loved a clean house. Martin and I would have to go to the laundrette around 5 a.m. pushing the beloved Silver Cross pram, which was bigger than both of us. And this pram was used for Carl and Gwen and Linda, and she made sure she got her money squares out of that pram. We had to use the Hoffman press and press everything, and I mean everything. That was knickers and socks and you name it, we had to press it. My brother Carl recalls having to push that same dreaded Silver Cross pram over the hill in Hugh to the washout, and we all complained every time. Gwen and Linda's memory was Mom was watching TV with them. Mom would go off to bed early, and before you knew it, Mom would be waking them up in some ungodly hour, requesting the bedding to be washed that day. Gwen would say, why Mom never said she had the bedding the night before? Under her breath. She's a real troublemaker. We had to clean the front room, the crochet pieces, chair backs, every glass in the cabinet, and the display of the dough and the deer, and the other little ornaments she had packed the front room with. We absolutely detested the sacred front room, and many times swept the stuff under the rug until we got caught when she did her inspection. Carl had to clean all the windows in and out without missing a spot, or he'd have to do them again. Our brother Martin picked apart mash up Mom and Dad's blue spot gram and the cooker, saying he was going to be an engineer, but couldn't put it back together properly. Would you believe he's actually become a very accomplished engineer in his field? On a visit to the UK, my sister Pat stated that Gwen was driving and they were going shopping and a car came too close. Mom wound out the window. Where, you like you buy your license? The driver made some comment and Mom replied, I will get out and get into it with you, bleep bleep. But I will leave that to your imagination. She was a defender of her children, true to her birth sign, Leo the Lion. Mom got an opportunity to go to the USA in 1986 to be a nanny for the Oppenheimers, who were diamond merchants. She spent 7 years in the US, got baptized in New York in 1990, and eventually returned to the UK 3 years later. On Mom's return, she developed diabetes, and in 2016, after a visit home, she developed complications in her right leg, which resulted in a below-the-knee amputation. Did that stop her? No. She was an exceptional fighter and ensured she had the independence and continued to cook and do things like go to the gym until 2018. The diabetes struck again and tried to take Mom out. She resisted, and fought with every fibre of her body, but eventually gave in and had the second amputation. We knew this knocked her confidence, as now she needed to rely on help more than ever. And she's always been very independent. Martin and Linda became Mum's official carers and ensured Mum's care was cared for and all her needs were met. In 2022, Mum asked Linda and I if we'd go to Barbados, originally for 2 weeks, which ended up being 4.5 months for me. On our journey out, arriving in London, we went through the security check with Linda and I, and clearly fairly quickly. But there seems to be a delay with Mum. The security officer called us over as they scanned her bag and took something out, then scanned it again. To our shock and amazement, Mum had wrapped all her English, Belgian and US money in a kitchen roll and in foil and placed it in a white envelope. They questioned us. One can only assume they must have thought Mum was doing something illegal. They eventually took the foil off and handed back her envelope, telling her she was lucky, and she could prove the money was hers. I can't repeat in church what she said under her breath, but it was not complimentary. Mum was in her element in Barbados, and she saw her old school friend Elise Wood, who was 6 days older than Mum, and their friendship stood the test of time and the distance. Her returnee friends, Wes, Ruth, Sybil, and new friends, Julie and Wayne, visited her every week while we were in Barbados, and they just muckle all day, setting the world to right. Mum truly loved that little rock called Barbados, as on return to the UK in July 2022, one of her suitcases weighed 54 kilos, and the other was 45 kilos. Don't ask what the little one weighed, I didn't check it in. Only my mum could travel with 2 suitcases, be 29 kilos overweight, and not pay any excess charges. She just sweet-talked the ground staff at British Airways, and they waved us through. Mum was a born-again Christian and a member of the Beulah Apostolic Church, and she stopped attending church after her second amputation. But would quote scriptures. She truly loved the Lord, and she always listened to her Jim Reeves, songs of praise, and Manchester's Legacy Radio. Our mum was a loving, compassionate woman. She pushed her children to be educated to the highest standard, as she was our harshest critic in reference to our studying. Mum's sense of humour, as stated previously, was second to none. She was quick-witted. She had no filter, and at times, I'm just keeping it real, she could cut you to the core with her razor-sharp tongue, but in the same breath, love you unconditionally. She didn't hold grudges, and she wore her heart on her sleeve. That was our mum. Mum was truly a faithful friend to many. She welcomed her children, her grandchildren, and even her great-grandchildren's friends when they came to visit, leaving them loving her and wanting to see her again. They probably didn't understand her Belgian accent when she got excited or sang, but always came back for more. In announcing our mum's sudden death on the 9th of July, 2023, my siblings and I have been overwhelmed by the messages sent through every media outlet known to man. Cards, flowers, and offers of support. We have been told all about the things she's done for friends from a young age through to adulthood, which we were unaware of. Stella Brock Griffith, a phenomenal woman, and her legacy will live on. Finally, my message completes my mum's life. Don't grieve for me today. I left my loved ones as I go. I pray, Lord, don't let them grieve too much, because I died today. Let there be no wailing echoing the rooms, the same rooms that held laughter and answers to her calls. I pray that all take comfort, accepting true way, and listen when I tell them these three things. So love will be forever, a promise that will last. Love me more than now. My time with you has passed. And last of all, remember the glowing love to be when our eyes meet once again for eternity. Stella, Julie, Rock Griffith, a daughter, a wife, a mother, a nana, a nanny, a grandmother, a sister, an aunt, a niece, and friend. Sleep in perfect peace until we meet again.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Come on, let's put our hands together. Let's put our hands together. Thank you, Marilyn, for doing such an excellent job. The adjectives you've used today, phenomenal. Come on, let's clap our hands again. Listen to that. We heard about a resourceful, a resilient, a defiant fighter. Clap our hands one last time for her. I wouldn't normally do this, but I would just like, have we got the 8 children here? Can we just have you to stand so the congregation can give you a hand? Yeah. Come on, congregation. Choose the 8. 8 children, wow, praise God. You had a great mother. Tremendous mother, tremendous. You are what you are because of this wonderful lady. You don't have 8 children, 22 grandchildren, and 34 great-grandchildren. Come on, let's clap one more time. You heard it said that she brought up her children. Thank you so much. She brought up her children to fear God and to know the Lord. And no doubt they in turn have remembered this. We're going to stay with the family tributes for a while. We're going to have the grandchildren. Simone, Monique, I'd like you all to come. And one after the other we'll have you. Simone, Monique, Shaniqua, and Cherie, the 4 grandchildren. In that order, and just come and render your tributes.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, I've been asked to share a few words on behalf of the grandchildren. As I read through the next section, I ask the congregation to bear with me. During my 7-hour flight from New York to London, I finally plucked up the courage to put pen to paper. Nana, as we all called her affectionately, or Nana Rock, as Marcus would call her, has lived many lives. Your version and experience may differ based on where you lived or travelled in proximity to her bi-coastal life. The versions I will highlight are as follows. Number 1, the Bajan Spice. This version was quick-lipped and hilarious. Version 2, Manchester's Finest, the traditional grandma, always available to guide and support. And finally, number 3, New York Bed-Stuy Granny, the version who told us stories, walked extremely fast, and conquered the Big Apple. What's exciting is that all 3 versions came from this one incredible woman, our Nana Stella, who we all love and will miss. I want to share some deeper insights into some of those versions that we experienced. There was an occasion where Nana needed to order us a taxi It was maybe one of the funniest things ever. She literally went into 3 different accents: American, Bayesian, and wrapped the call with a Mancunian accent. Can I get a taxi at 3 Bougainville Gardens, please? We laughed. Growing up, we would spend many school holidays or weekends with Nana. No matter where in the world she would be, we would make those moments memorable, whether it was through making great conversation or food. One Christmas, I wanted to make oxtail. So she told me what to buy and talked me through every step. Now you all know how long oxtail take. That didn't matter to my Nana. She stayed on the other end of my phone for hours. Nana loved to talk. That's where I get it from. I would crack up during our weekly FaceTimes because she always held the phone either too close or too high. I could always see when Uncle Martin went and gave her a haircut. So I was like, well, Nana, nice lineup. Nana would share her delight in seeing or speaking to all of her grandchildren. Hey, I saw Jordell and Dre today. How's Dion and his boys? Wait, I saw and I spoke to Josiah. Gwen brought him over. As years went by, it would be the roll call of checking in and encouraging that we all pay attention when outside, and may God keep us safe. Oh wow, how I loved our 6 a.m. calls. When we were sick, Nana would douse us in her tincture. Now that mix would cure everything, but wow, it smelled strong. I'm sure it stuck to my clothes. Nana was always excited to feed her grandchildren, especially when the girls were expecting. Cherie, Monique, and Letitia. I'm not sure exactly how many bakes you consumed, but I do know all of your children, Taya, Nadira, Josiah, all have those lovely cheeks. Bed-Stuy memory, which I know they both may be able to remember. Monique and Darren were misbehaving, so Nana made them both learn the Lord's Prayer from memory. During one of our many New York holidays, Nana took us to the supermarket as Auntie Linda had gone out to the city. After Nana filled her shopping cart, she started to distribute the bags. 4 for Monique, and you, Simone, grabbed the milk. This was no ordinary milk. It was a gallon. Now back then, I was maybe 8 or 9 and very skinny. That gallon of milk was the heaviest thing on the planet. As we walked maybe 3 New York blocks, some trouble was kicking off and gunshots began to ring. Nana scooped Monique and I up and flung us into the nearby garden for safety. I remember this moment vividly because what I failed to mention, it was plus 100 degrees in Bed-Stuy, and she was carrying the remaining 12 bags of groceries. Oh, and she took the gallon of milk because I was walking too slow and clearly struggling. My Nana's instinct was to protect us. At that moment, I witnessed my first superhero. She did not flinch. She did not even break a sweat. Just did what needed to be done. I was in awe and have been ever since a little girl. Fighting illness, amputations, but always coming through the other side with minimal wounds. I was always able to call this beautiful, strong black woman my Nana. As I got older and moved around the world, our communication became more frequent and we talked about everything. It was our thing. I wanted to know all about her life experiences and let her know how much I admired her courage to live in 3 different countries. At the end of our calls, we would always sign off with, "What's your wish if it could be granted?" On occasion, it would change, but the constant was her wanting to visit Barbados. God spare my life. In 2022, I was able to grant that wish. This moment was extra special because it was Mother's Day. I treated her, Auntie Linda, Mum, my 2 friends, and my goddaughter to a fancy restaurant by the ocean for a sunset dinner. This was my way of showing my appreciation for my
for her being an incredible grandma. I love to spoil my nana, and at the end of the night, I gave her a shot of Falernum, her favourite. We took some pictures and made our way to the car. I gave her another gift in secret, and she grabbed my face and said, "Thank you. I never thought a woman like me could be somewhere so special." I responded in my cheeky way, "Stella, they made places just like this, just for women like you. Strong, courageous, and sometimes miserable." She pinched me and then shed a tear. Now I'm here. No more memories to be created. But I take joy knowing you are in a place even more worthy and special. Today I mourn the loss of more than our nana. I've lost my superhero, my best friend, and my confidant. I, along with others, feel broken and lost as we don't know life without you. I take comfort knowing that we as a family can try to rebuild and move forward as a collective. I repeat, I take comfort knowing we as a family can try to rebuild and move forward as a collective. Until then, I will continue to seek the guidance of my ancestral queens, Frederica Bell, ma'am, and now you, Stella, Eulogy Rock Griffith. May you guide and watch over all the grandchildren, support our endeavors, and order our steps. Oh, one last thing. I know you may not approve, but never judge. I got another tattoo, but this one says, "From Nana, kiss, 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 kiss." I took it directly from the birthday cards that you always would send to us 2 weeks early. Love you forever.
Where do I start? It's still hard for me to comprehend the loss of my nana, but I'm so glad that I was able to have such a close and special bond with her while she was still here, and I'm left with a lifetime of memories. I have so many memories of Nana, from her giving me rice and peas and chicken for breakfast at 4, to Nana attending my school plays, to telling me if somebody hits you, make sure you hit them back. Don't let nobody beat you. To going on trips with her around England, to going on holidays to Barbados that my mum knew nothing about, and Nana would tell her 2 weeks before we left. I have memories of me, Dre, Monique and Simone being at Nana's, and me always telling them I'm Nana's favourite. Monique would say, I was the first grandchild born in England. You may think you're Nana's favourite because you live in Manchester and I live in London, but I'm Nana's favourite. And when we would ask Nana, she would just laugh and ignore the question. There are so many memories I could share, but we would be here all day. As I got older, I still appreciated the bond I had with my Nana, going there almost every day after school and then college. When I started working, I would call Nana if not every day, every other day, just to check in. And you could always tell the mood she was in by the way she answered the phone. And Nana was one of my biggest supporters. I'm going to miss the phone calls with Nana, the video calls and watching her interact with my nieces and nephews. I'm going to miss the stories she used to tell us about her life and adventures. I thank God for giving me Stella Griffith as a grandmother.
Let's give him a resounding hand. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to be favoured now with a vocal tribute by another granddaughter, Tanika. And this is Faithful. faithful song. Premier Praise top gospel song of the year. Let's put our hands together.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming to celebrate the life of my beautiful Nana. I am Tanika, Stella's grandchild. This song I'm about to lead you all is called Goodness of God. This song just talks about the love and the goodness of God and how He has been so faithful. As you know, that my Nana is a very strong woman, and no matter what came her way, she remained strong in the Lord. I want us all as a family to remember that although we are grieving, Psalms 46 verse 1, which says, God is our refuge and strength, our present help in our time of need. Amen. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. the goodness of God. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of
All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. Yes, you have, Lord. All my life you have been so good. Every breath that I make, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Let's put our hands together. Let's clap our hands up to the Lord. Of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Thank you so very much, Tanika and the Emmanuel Singers. We have two more items of tributes, and this one is coming from Dayon and Dawn, grandchildren. And then we also have Nadira, Jiscom, great-grand, Tisha, and Josiah will come afterwards. Thank you so much. So get ready, Nadira.
Good afternoon, everybody. In memory of Nana. Memories grow and memories fade, but memories of Nana never go away. Her smile rests in mine, her hands help me so, her love fills my heart, her spirits run through my soul. In memory of Nana, the trunk of my tree, I live my life as her legacy. I love you, Nana.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll have the other tribute now also from Nadira, from Tisha, and Josiah. Thank you. Come on, put your hands together. Just encourage them wherever you are.
Nano, today's your day. Even if we're gonna miss you loads, never forget that you were great. I love you to bits, and I'm so thankful for everything you've taught me in my 12 years of age. I'm most grateful that Mum said to drive down to Manchester for my 12th birthday this past June. I know it's the best thing I could ever have done because the memories we got on that day. The last time I saw you was the end of June. We got to crack jokes. I asked you, what's wrong with my driving? Your response was, you can't even drive one of them marked cars on the side of the street. And that means bumper cars. What made me happy every time we visited Nana in Manchester was we always got to see you and you always had that big fat smile on your face with those cute chubby cheeks. It was worth mentioning that she would always complain that we came to see her last. But Mum would always say, it's because we love to spend the most time with you. We would laugh every time she squeezed the Kai and commented, "What are you feeding her?" She loved that little dumpling, great-great-granddaughter. I didn't believe that. She didn't believe that Mum was only feeding her fish and veg. Nana, you no longer being here has caused a lot of hearts to break. But I want to tell you, everyone that you brought up was amazing. You had 8 children, 22 grandchildren, and 34 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild to come. Taya, you're somewhere in here. I have so many people. I've lost so many people since I was young, and I've never forgotten them because they meant so much to me. This is the first time I thought about getting up to say a speech because I know Nana would be very proud of me. All I want to do is continue to make her proud. And one more thing to say, you're smiling down on us, and I hope you get to meet my nanny Nadia, my auntie Janique, and our baby cousin Zachariah Cartier Matthews. I, Nadira Giscombe, daughter of Monique and Dita, am so proud to be part of your legacy. Rest in peace forever, my happiness.
Hello. Nana, there was nobody like you. You was always there for me, and you would always check on me, even if you didn't need to. I will cry for you, and I will always think about you. And if anybody talks about you, don't worry, I'll put them in their place. And look after Zachariah, please. Love you.
Good. Come on, let's do that. I think one of the things that we've seen today is that Stella's family are all strong because she gave them that confidence to be strong. And I think she deserves another hand for that. We have a little time to take a few open tributes, and after the open tributes, the Emmanuel singers will come back to me for the last time, and I'll be giving a short word immediately. Open tributes, please come. Just introduce yourself and say who you are.
Praise the Lord. Thank you, friends and family. Well, as I look around here, tell you we have more family than friends in this place. And just because of Stella, who she was. That's my oldest sister. And I was fortunate to visit her when she went to Barbados in June. I flew down to Barbados and I met her there. And we talked constantly on the phone, and she spoke with me early July, like a couple of days before she died actually. And she was very adamant with the fact that she wants to go back home for good. I said, sister, it ain't happening because of medical conditions and different reasons. But I want to say thank God for such a woman. I'm the 4th brother to Stella. And nobody can replace this woman. Nobody. And talk about, somebody mentioned about dumplings, and my other 2 brothers fighting for dumplings. Let me tell you something. This woman could cook a soup. I am a chef professionally, but she got me beat. And I don't know. I flew in here, me and my sister Janice from the USA, just to see my sister. And the thing about it is I always used to fly from the USA directly to Manchester. Now they changed those flights, so I had a hell of a time coming from the USA here. I never rode a train in my life in the UK, and I tell you, I'll never ride one again. That's the truth. And had not for my sister, I don't even think I would made it down here from London. My sister and I, we walked so much. We never walked so much. And you ask people to give you direction, and we were going around in circles like for 45 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating. But Stella, I love you, I miss you, and I'll do anything in this world to have you back, but I know I'm not going to have you back, but I'll see you in heaven. God bless.
Excellent. Spoken like a true brother. Have we one more? Okay, thank you so much. Or is one coming? No. Well,